only in golf would this be covered like Tom Kim killed somebody. Like,
Yeah.
bro,
It's not that big of a deal.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. There's a lot going on per usual. We got a little World Series action. I'm going to get Frankie's take down to nothing. A lot of baseball left coming off some fun weekends. I was out of Bandon Dunes. I want to talk all about the Uncle Tony Invitational and being at that magical place. We got some controversy in the golf world. Tom Kim's out here issuing apologies, which was a very funny apology that I saw him issue after reports went out that he like broke a locker. Justin Thomas kind of back. JT back in the mix a little bit. Then on the video front, we've got Jersey Jerry this week. So I believe Wednesday, Jersey Jerry's second attempt at breaking 100. Trent, I think you were there again, ushering your boy around the course.
I was in Chicago. We played at a place called Sunset Valley, which was lovely. Me and Jerry taking another crack at the breaking 100. Very fun. Great day. Always good to see Jerry. Always good to play golf with him.
Mm-hmm.
What day is that coming out?
Wednesday.
Check that out. And yeah, it's one of those things hard to promote, but just watch it and we'll go from there.
Yeah, Jersey Jerry's giving it his all. I mean, every episode he's right there. I've played with him. We played with him on the Midwest trip. I know Trent has now done 2 episodes with him. This may be the end because this guy is so close every single time he goes out and plays from what I know. And yeah, it's just he's hitting the ball well, and it is fun to watch a guy go through that same kind of journey that Trent went on, where you're counting every single stroke. The game's a little bit different when you have to get the ball in the hole. It's a little bit different. Like to Jerry, I feel like, right? Like he goes out there and he plays and he has some sort of sense of his game, just like everyone kind of does. We all have our types of games with our buddies where you're playing match play and you end up putting one to 5 feet, 4 feet, and the other one's out of the hole. And he's just like, that's good. Let's go to the next one. Well, when you're doing breaking 100, like you got to make that in. And like more often than not, a guy like Jerry, a guy like me, a guy like Trent Riggs, like we're going to miss those. And that adds up over 2, 3, 6, 18 holes. Like you got to make the next one. So it is, and that is golf. I know people they don't like when we harp on the fact that like ball and hole is something that's like insane, but the average person doesn't go out there and play that way.
No.
When you go to any public golf course and you're playing with your buddies, I mean, you're typically just playing kind of leisure rules where if it gets around the hole, you kind of pick it up, move on. No one wants to be an asshole out there. You're not going to make a guy putt out something that you think that they might miss and would ruin their day. Like, hey, just pick that thing up. You played the hole well. Let's go to the next tee. Let's go. You made a bogey. Let's move it. You don't want to see them make a double bogey out of that. But then you do this video and it's like, holy shit, this starts to add up.
It's also a pace of play issue. We're not advocating for everybody when they go out and play should do ball and hole. No. But I do think it's valuable every once in a while. Now, I do think when you're normally out there just playing, you should probably just keep it moving, like I said, for pace of play. But yeah, every once in a while, just to see where your game's at. You do one round of ball and hole, and you figure out very quickly where you're at, and that's
shouldn't change it too much. There's just those, like if you lag a 30-footer to 2 feet, like that 2 foot tap in is going to be 99% of the time. It's just going to hit the back of the cup and go in.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's why you just say like great lag and you throw it back to the guy and you're like, you're good. It's just, there is the nerves standpoint that comes in. Like sometimes you can miss that. Sometimes you could just like pull a little 2-footer or somehow you push it and it like rims out. And that's where it starts to add up when you're doing a video like Jerry's doing, where it's like, holy shit, we got to pay attention to every single. We've seen PGA Tour guys mark and line up like 1-footers because they're just like, I need to get this in the hole.
Then miss.
Jordan
Spieth a couple of years ago too. Like those 2 misses inside of like 2 feet. You're like, bro, if Jordan Spieth can miss these, like one of the best putters in the history of the world, anybody can miss those. And it also just makes, look, the match play, I'm a huge proponent of match play. We all are. If you actually go over to the UK, Scotland, a lot of the scorecards that they have at those old clubs only have match play plus or minus. They have like a whole column just for match play plus or minus. They don't even have a box in a lot of the spots for you to necessarily write your number, because the whole game is you go out, play alternate shot 2v2 or 2v2 best ball with your buddies, and they just care about the match play. Nobody gives a shit what you shot. Shout out to G4. They do a whole golf hat series. Nobody cares what you shot. So I'm a big proponent of match play too. And the thing about ball and hole, and credit to you two, Frankie or Trent and Jerry doing it, is it makes every shot harder. Like it makes your tee shot that much harder when you're standing there because you're thinking throughout the whole time. Like there's always a little bit of a cushion when you're playing with a buddy and it's a little bit of match play. It's like, fuck, if I hit one over there, oh, we're playing everything lateral. What are you guys doing? Okay, we'll do that. And you hit it up there and you're like, okay, I could probably take a double. That's my handicap scorecard double, whatever the hell it might be. makes every shot harder when you know I got to get this ball, like that 30-foot lag example that you just used. It's like that lag putt becomes way harder when you know you have to stand over the next one and drill it. It just fucking does. It just makes it the whole day is infinitely more stressful when you're playing ball and hole.
Oh, mentally, that was a big part of why I struggled with breaking 90 for so long, is that I would step up to a tee box and think I could make a 30 here. Where the video that we're shooting, a 30 is not too high. Like where there's no point where Frankie's going to look at me and say, "Pick that up, pal. Let's get out of here before they call the authorities." It's like it's the number is the number, and Riggs is absolutely right. That adds to it. And once I finally got over, like, you get to a point where, and I probably should have gotten there sooner, but you get to a point where you're like, all right, the worst I'm probably going to make on this hole is like a 7. And that mentally is so nice, because then you end up making a 4 and you're like, see, I can do this. But when you have the mental Mount Everest of like, no number is too high and every number is possible. It's not going to be 3,000, but theoretically it could be. That is a horrible place to be mentally. So once you get over that, you feel better. But yeah, no, it definitely makes, when you're going ball and hole, any number, mentally it's a mind fuck for sure.
And there's gonna be people listening to this being like, of course you play ball and hole, it's golf, you guys are a golf podcast, this is why you guys suck and have vanity handicaps and you guys lie about all this shit. It's like, be real with yourself listening to this right now. We all know the way that we all play golf. You're listening to this, you're probably getting frustrated, but you also can think back to the last time you played golf and you put one to 3 feet and you scooped it up and you went into the next hole, or your buddy knocked it back to you because you knocked one to a half a foot and you just put it in your pocket. You didn't play that ball and hole. And if you did that, you're disqualified. All right. Like, that's right. So if you're not playing the exact rules of golf, you are disqualified. You're getting sent home. And we only do that once in a while in these videos, and it makes a difference. So yeah, I think that's what makes it great. Shout out to Jersey Jerry. Make sure you go watch that video. He's gonna play ball and hole, and we're gonna see if he can break 100.
Yeah, go check that bad boy out. Equinox EV helps you get the distance you're looking for with an available EPA estimated 319 miles of range on a full charge. Actual range may vary based on several factors. Go to this link, Chevy.com/Equinox EV, and just check this thing out. It's EV. It's awesome. It's spacious. We're talking Equinox EV LT, the 2025 version, starting price around $34,995. Pricing may vary. Dealers obviously set the final price. But you go to this link, just look how sexy this thing looks. It's American. It's the future. It's innovative. They got lease offers, amazing deals at Chevy.com/Equinox EV. We love this vehicle, Trent.
We love it. Yeah. Go to the link and just browse. It's so fun. You're going to find something you like. You're going to customize it in the way that you want. Maybe your lease is coming up. Maybe you need a new vehicle. The Equinox EV should be your number one stop. Chevy.com. Go there. Check it out. I guarantee you're going to find something you like. I guarantee it.
They got the best in class 17.7-inch diagonal standard touchscreen display. So do yourself a favor, Chevy.com/Equinox EV. Chevrolet together. Let's drive. First of all, shout out to Nico, friend of the program, who won over in Japan. I was texting with him last night. I think we're going to try to have him on for Thursday's show. Big friend of the program. I know he listens to a ton of our shows, watches a ton of our stuff. He always comments on our stuff. He was really close with Dan for a little while, and then kind of became buddies with us through Dan, and he got his second PGA Tour win. He'll be playing in the Masters for the first time. So I didn't realize that he's played in, I think, the U.S. Open and the PGA, or maybe the British Open, but he had never played in the Masters before. This win gets him into the Masters, and then he fended off Justin Thomas, which Justin Thomas hasn't won, I think, in almost 2 years since the PGA Championship, maybe over 2 years, like 29 months or something like that. 2.5 years Justin Thomas hasn't won. Last time he did win PGA Southern Hills, he came back. I think that was the round where he was 7 back and had a shank going into that final round.
Yep.
And then was able to come back and get the win in a playoff over Will Zalatoris. That was his last fucking win. That was Justin Thomas's last win. He didn't make the President's Cup team, for Christ's sake, this last year. So seeing JT out there charging, Shiggy shot 66 in the final round yesterday. Played incredibly well all week, so nice to see him playing well. But Mr. Tom Kim, so the reports were coming out. I saw like Golf Digest and a bunch of media were tweeting pictures of his locker in the locker room at the tournament. Door broken, had broken off the damn hinges or whatever. And he put out a statement, because it was going viral everywhere. Tom Kim, in frustration, breaks the locker room door. He put out this statement. After the loss, I was frustrated. Yes, obviously. Absolutely. but I can assure you with absolute truth that I had no intent on damaging any part of the locker, not a single bit. I addressed it with the DP World Tour and the KPGA right after the incident, saying that the door came off. I also let them know that I was willing to pay all expenses for the damage. So he's just saying the door just came off.
I tweeted this, but only in golf would this be covered like Tom Kim killed somebody. Like, it's like,
not
think
that
about,
big of a deal.
Like I was watching that Commanders-Bears game yesterday. How many, in that away locker room with the Bears, how much stuff got broken? How many things got thrown around and we're just like, we're the stupidest fucking team on planet Earth. I'm going to break something because I'm frustrated that I didn't win. He lost in a playoff to Bandon, barely lost at home, South Korea. And he's just like, I'm frustrated and I'm going to break something. And it's very golf to just be, he had to issue a statement about what happened. It's crazy to me. It really is. It just shows that like golf is in a different tier when it comes to like anything that's out of order. If you show any sort of emotion either way, it's the biggest story in the world. Like our guy, Nico, he won. He's on the phone crying with his mom and dad. It's a great moment. That was a huge thing. If you are emotional in golf, it would appear you are going to get media coverage. And if you break a door in frustration, you are going to have to issue an apology because you were a bad boy and you broke a door out of frustration. It's crazy.
Go back and watch one of my favorite Yankees of all time, Paul O'Neill. Every time he would strike out or get out in a big moment, he would take a bat to a jug and destroy it. He wanted to rip it into pieces. The highlight reel of Paul O'Neill getting mad. Alex, I don't know if you could pull this up. One of the funniest guys, just the biggest, strongest, hottest temper you've ever seen on a baseball field, and no one even batted an eye. They're like, of course that jug is destroyed. It never even should have been here.
Dude, I grew up watching Carlos Zambrano pitch for the Cubs, and he would absolutely go ape shit if he didn't have a good outing. And it was some of the best stuff. Like that's my thing is I guess I don't mind that it's being covered. I don't like that it's covered in a way where Tom Kim feels the need to make an apology. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, because he gets there, he gets into the room, and he probably opens up the locker, he gets his stuff, and then he thinks about what just happened, and he slams it just a little bit, like just out of frustration, just like anyone does. You slam a door, you slam a car door, whatever it is, and it just fell off the hinge. Like whatever the reasoning is, I don't think he was taking his head to it and slamming his head as hard as he could, just like a maniac. Tom Kim was a maniac inside the locker room. No, I don't think that's what happened. So the fact that we expect, or the media expects, some sort of apology from him, I don't know why he felt the need to do that. Like how much heat was actually on him. Like a couple people were writing about it, but it's like, I don't know, you're showing some emotion. Isn't that almost a good thing? Like he could spin it into a good thing.
That's what I was going to say is, dude, we want people to care. We want people to care in sports. We want people to care in golf when we watch it. Look how mad Tiger Woods is getting. Tiger, and he's out there slamming his club. He's cursing all over the place, and we fucking love the guy. There's a clip of Rory McIlroy tomahawking his 9-iron into a fucking lake in Florida, whenever that was, 10 or 15 years ago.
What about that one photo of his like shirt ripped? I never knew that. Where'd that come from? That's always the meme of him just like disheveled and his shirt is ripped. He's looking out the window.
Was that like the Dubai or something like 2 years ago? Because I want to say when we filmed with Rory,
yep,
it was right after he had the shirt rip thing.
Well, I remember because I think I know you're right that we filmed right afterwards, because we had the conversation of, you think it'd be funny if we all ripped our shirts before he got up here?
Wow.
And cooler heads prevail. Where like, this video is going to come out in 4 months and Rory's going to be like, why did you guys do this? This is ridiculous.
That's right. I remember that being a huge moment that we somehow veered away from doing that, because in the moment it was red hot. It was everywhere in the streets. We were filming with Rory like 2 days later. We're going to come with our shirts ripped off. He would have fucking hated us. Been like, you guys are the biggest losers in the world. Like, but the point is, when you watch like even the Netflix series, there's a whole clip of Ian Poulter, I believe, when he came up short, like in last year's, just banging a locker at like TBC Sawgrass or something. And it's like, that's what you want, man. You want your athletes to care. And when you failure is a huge part of sports. You fail all the fucking time. You're going to be pissed off. You put your whole life into it. You're emotional. There's nothing wrong with that.
Let this be a part of your brand. It should be like when Tom Kim blows a lead and doesn't win a tournament or whatever, if he gets angry at his performance, he should leave that locker room like the Tasmanian devil. Like they should know that Tom Kim was there, like stop apologizing for this shit. Who are you apologizing to? Jeff Shackelford? Like, who is the apology actually towards?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like rock bands in the 70s. They would just tear up a hotel room. That was just part of their lore and part
Didn't
of
Led Zeppelin
aura.
just throw everything out of their room every time for no reason? And like Ozzy Osbourne just would clean his room out, just throwing like TVs and dressers. Just they would throw them out. This is Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill on this day in 1992, much display of the water coolers everywhere. Look at that guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Just every water cooler in sight. Look at him. Boom. See you later. Thanks for coming. That's 2 times, by the way. They actually put the water cooler back up, and then he sat next to it and just smacked it off again. Really, you're just ruining like the equipment manager's day. That's all you're doing.
Emotion's fine. That was my whole thing. Was the apology was who's he apologizing to? We want it. I want emotion. I want you to care. Just lost in a playoff. It's not like a small thing.
Who are the most like visibly frustrated, angry, tirade golfers
Tyrrell
of all
Hatton.
time?
Tyrrell Hatton.
Tyrrell Hatton. And
it's a mental nightmare in there.
But people love him. People love him for it.
Billy Horschel, Tyrrell Hatton, John Rahm.
Who are Brett McCabe's clients, I guess.
Yeah, right. Scottie Scheffler claims that he was a problem when he was growing up. He said that on our very podcast. He's like, I was a loose cannon on the golf course. If I did anything that strayed from my progress in a golf round, I would lose my mind. And he said he had to really work on it, and now he just doesn't answer he works on it so much so that he doesn't answer my text messages anymore. He's totally removed himself from all communication.
Wyndham Clark is up there.
Clark, he gets pretty rattled out there. I will say, I think somebody told me that Scottie Scheffler, when he was on with Colt and Drew last week or 2 weeks ago, that Colt revealed that Scottie hadn't responded to one of his texts in 4 months. So I think that he's, that's not that uncommon.
I congratulated him on a child, the Masters, just like big text, real big text. But it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I don't think he hates me.
There's a part of me that would argue you can't get to the highest level without having that somewhere in you.
You got to have some anger. I mean, Sergio, the bunker incident.
Remember that one in Saudi Arabia?
The most angry anyone's ever been. Just doing a sand dance. You know,
at the end he like did the scoop with it. Remember that?
Just building a sandcastle in that thing.
Yeah, like trying to get the sandworm to show up. Like he's fucking Timothy Chalamet.
Who I guess the opposite side of that is who is perceived as the calmest golfer?
Dustin Johnson.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen him show emotion in a frustrated way.
Answer. Tiger Woods shows a lot of emotion. I mean, at peak Tiger Woods, even like 2019 Tiger Woods, if he missed a shot like short right, if he flared one out, it was that immediate like recoil of like a slamming of the so like he would swing, he would follow through, and then that first like spin around, like he'd spin back towards the camera and not even look at it. He doesn't even want to look at it. Can you picture exactly what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
He flares one out to the right and just goes, boom, and it's just as much club speed going back as it was going forward. And he's like, don't even watch it. Cut the camera.
Just knows right away.
Tiger.
I think
Tom Kim, you did nothing wrong, my friend. Nothing.
No, nothing wrong. I think it was a few years ago when Patrick Cantlay talked a lot about Tiger playing with emotion, because somebody was growing him on how he just looks so robotic, how it looks like he's got no emotion out there. And he was like, I wish I could do what Tiger does, where I go nuts and then I get pissed. But he's like, if I did something like that, I would just run out of energy out there. I don't know how the hell Tiger Woods is able to channel that into playing better.
Patrick Cantlay might be the most calm person also. I mean, he's just, how do you get emotion out of a paper towel? I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's literally a paper towel. Like how do you look at a paper towel, piece of paper, just one sheet, right? Double ply. How do you look at that and just be like, show emotion? Because he's got nothing in there. He just kind of hits golf shots and wins a ton of money. The most money
he does.
The most money you can even money, you know? He's an ATM machine.
Good for Joe.
An ATM machine is more exciting. At least it plays the button noises and it has some graphics on there.
It asks you
Thanks
some
for
questions.
coming. Thanks for shopping. Asks you a couple questions. It has some sort of personality. And that's not I'm just saying that he might be the most just level-headed. Patrick Cantlay might be the most level-headed, just like solid from beginning to end golfer.
But it's also proof that doesn't mean success all the time. You got a guy like John Rahm who is hot under the collar and emotional and will say things to himself and like slam a club. and that makes you successful as well. Like if Patrick Cantlay won every single golf tournament, it'd be like, oh, that's the way you do it. You're just calm, you're level-headed, and that's the way to approach this. But it's not. It takes all kinds.
I want it on record that I would like to have more of Patrick Cantlay's personality where he can just kind of go into like some other mode, some other Zen mode, and just do his thing. Like I always wear everything on my sleeve. I'm eccentric. I'm crazy. I'm moving 100 miles an hour. I'm fast twitching. He's just, and we've heard it from Joey LaCava. He's like, this guy just goes out there and does his thing. There's not much conversation. He goes from tee box to green and just plays golf. He's a professional, and he just doesn't show emotion. So yeah, I mean, there's ways to do it. I think Tom Kim definitely shows emotion, and he should not be afraid of it. I mean, he was crying when he missed medaling at the U.S. Open at the Olympics, when he was signing for his card. He's in there and he's wiping away tears, and he knows everything, all the implications about having to serve his country. Then, like, it's the military service requirement. Like, there's just he wears a lot of this stuff on his sleeve, and that's people love that. Like, they see that he has emotion. They also were getting on him and we were too, for like being buddy with Scottie when they were coming down that one tournament. What was that? The Travelers?
Yeah, the Travelers. They were like hugging, and he was like
laughing, looking up at Scottie all bright eyed, and everyone's like, get a little emotion in there, Tom Kim. Like, try and beat your best friend. Like, don't let him bully you around. He's playing a tactic that you don't even understand.
But then
he's putting you.
President's Cup was awesome.
And then President's Cup, he found his inner tiger. You know, he found that roar.
Speaking of ATM machine, I got my bank account cleaned out one time when I was in college from an ATM machine. Luckily I had like no money because I was in college. I just had like a couple $100 from valet, but I went, used the ATM machine, left my card in the ATM machine. It was one of those where like it eats it, you know, and some fucker was scouting the whole thing, and you have like 30 seconds to get in there before they destroy it, and just got in there and took all the money out of my account.
Now they've fixed ATM machines that they won't give you the money until after you pull it out. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Like, you cannot continue that process unless you grab your card. And this happened to me on my bachelor party. My buddy, I'll keep him nameless, but he was it was like the first night. I think we were at like Kid Rocks. We're in Nashville. Everyone, the vibes are kind of up. We're listening to live music. We're having a bunch of drinks. We just got to the house. Now we're at the bar. Vibes are up. We got 20 guys for this bachelor party. And my one buddy's over at this ATM machine, like arguing with a million bouncers and managers. And like, there's a scene around this thing, and he's shit faced, right? Like, he can't even see straight. And I remember him coming over to us. He's like, the thing took my money. Like, he just won't take my cut. He's like, this place sucks. Like, he's just like arguing with everyone. And the guy's like, you got to calm your friend down. I don't know what he's like. We're trying to figure out what happened with this ATM machine. He's not speaking exactly what happened. So then my one buddy, Tom, goes over and just pulls the fucking card out, and all the money comes out. And we look at this other guy, and we're like, are you serious? Like, dude, it was a 20-minute debate, like arguing, pushing. People are pushing each other.
Yeah.
We're like, just pull the card out, and then everything continues. He's like, I don't know. They just took all my money. my card's gone now. They're like, yes, you got to take it out. You have to visit. It doesn't shoot it out and put it back into your wallet, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck. Alcohol.
It does turn you into a toddler sometimes, where you're just like trying to problem solve.
Like, I put a card in there, and I'm just looking to get some cash. He's like, I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know what you guys are doing here. I'm trying to get cash. And we're like, dude, if you had 9 less drinks, this would have been way easier.
Way easier.
It's like all those reality shows, man, where they just get everybody liquored up on the show and just film everything that they do. And you're like, oh, man, if that happened to me, I mean, anybody would look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, God.
Oh, my God.
The NBA is finally back. I know Trent's an NBA guy.
I am, yeah. I'm very excited.
A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards, grabbing rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. Are you ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something very simple, like just picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and place your bet. First timers, new DraftKings customers, you just bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. We're also talking World Series. You get bet on each pitch. You can bet on home run hitters. You can bet hockey. Shout out to Elio, who's out there giving winners. Mr. Ice. Take it to the rack with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code FORE. That is code FORE for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. So Bandon Dunes, I got to talk real quick about the Uncle Tony Invitational this past weekend. This was my third, maybe, or fourth time on this event. I was kind of a replacement 5 years ago, a last-minute replacement. It's a different, I know we did the whole thing, Frankie's trip and Big Cedar, and we're talking a lot about Buddy's trips. So we don't have to do it the whole thing. But I think a lot of people, they kind of reach out when they're going to do a trip about formats and different formats. I think most common, you do a Ryder Cup, you kind of do a draft. You got two different teams and you play sort of Ryder Cup style matches. One team wins the cup and they celebrate. This one's different. This is sort of a closer to a member guest format. So you have one partner. It's teams of two. You got one partner for the whole week. And it's 4 tournament rounds. You play net best ball. So I think the winners this year, shout out to my guys, Izzy and Hank, they were 26 under through 4 rounds of net two-man best ball golf. Me and my boy Guido, I think we got to 19 under. We finished kind of middle of the pack. But the guys that won the whole thing were in last place after the first round. It's 4 tournament rounds, and then they came charging back. That place is amazing. I know you guys have been there once, Bandon, but we had phenomenal weather. We got a little bit of mix of everything. We had a couple days where it was just perfectly sunny, and you're out there walking around. It's like a 4-mile-an-hour wind at Sheep Ranch, which I know is one of Trent's favorite courses. No bunkers. And you're just like, I know, hugs and the whole deal. But you're walking around. It was like the 4th hole. And I was with Matt Janelle and a couple guys were just looking at each other. We're like, this is the coolest thing in the history of the fucking world. We're like looking at the waves crash out there. We're about to go by the turn hut here after like the 4th hole. We're going to get a cocktail. And on this tee shot on the 4th hole, we're literally hitting over this cliff after like my boy just came off a birdie. We're hitting over this cliff. We got these caddies out there. Odie, who's my guy who's caddied for me like the last 3 times every trip I've been out there. He caddies, so he always stays in touch. He sends me like a picture once a week from the 4th hole at Bandon, which is my favorite hole. So he's like caddying for us. We're out there hitting these tee shots over the cliff. You're hugging your buddies. We got music playing on the speaker, and you're just like, dude, this was said a bunch, but it's like, this is why you do everything. This is why you work. This is why it's like hard to get up in the morning. You got stresses, you got drama, you got family stuff, all kinds of stuff that comes up. It's hard to just like make life work day in and day out. You do all of it for this stuff. And it was just kind of day after day of that throughout the whole trip for 4 days. We played everything but Old McDonald's. So we started with Bandon Trails, then played Sheep Ranch, played the new 19-hole Shorties par 3 course. They have an awesome taco stand there now. So we were crushing tacos. Then we played Pacific Dunes, which is the hardest course there. And it was like beautiful on the front 9. And then, we turned back into the wind. And it was like a wind emoji on the forecast all week long that we were a little bit worried about. And it just started blowing like 30 or 40 straight into your face. You're like trying to land this plane and finish this round at Pacific Dunes, which is like what you want. It's like the real full experience. It reminded me of that first round that we had like out in Hawaii, where it's like the wind's just blowing. You're standing there. You're like, I just have to somehow hit golf shots or we're never going to get through this thing. And then Bandon, we got really lucky on Saturday. It was supposed to be pretty rainy and ugly. And we had like 2 or 3 holes of a little bit of rain. And then the rest of the time, it was just pretty windy and pretty beautiful out. So unbelievable trip. They got a new steakhouse up there called the Ghost Tree Grill. That was an off the charts steakhouse. First of all, they've got the Ghost Tree logo, which is the coolest logo from that whole place. And when you pull in, they've got that. It's like this almost like silver big silhouette of that ghost tree on like the door and like the wall right by the door. When you first come in, it just says Ghost Tree Grill. And then inside there, it's like a steakhouse, like you're in fucking Manhattan or LA. Our group kept saying that, being like, I feel like I could be in any major city right now. So awesome steakhouse. Which,
how do they even get that stuff to Bandon, Oregon?
Dude, that's what we were saying. Like, how does this? It felt like we teleported somewhere. It felt like Josh Isner put us on his jet and flew us to LA to have like a steak dinner, and then we flew back to the random rural coast of Oregon. But my dude, the Irish fucking people are so funny, and we got to do an Ireland golf trip. We just have to, because one of the guys on this trip, my buddy Killian O'Dowd, is the funniest person. he's just like, he's a party trick. He's a fucking party trick. Like, he's born to be a dinner guest and a party trick. He's telling, he tells the long form Irish jokes that are just stories with unimaginably funny punchlines. And he, the whole time, he just, we're out there, we're having these steaks. It's like the second night of the trip. So the whole trip pretty much is still in front of us. And he and I are sitting there, we're having a laugh, we're hanging, having drinks. And he's like, this fucking steak, we got to get the chef out here. So he brings the chef out. Chef comes out. He like stands up and starts clapping. Well, the whole restaurant now starts getting up and he's going, let's hear it for the chef. And everybody's clapping, going nuts for the chef. Life. Oh, dude, totally. And then kill it. And that's what he said afterwards. He's like, that just made the man's life. It made his life. He's all going nuts. And the chef, Brandon, turns out he's a huge foreplay guy. So he came out. He's like, Riggs, the boys, where are all the boys at? We were like, chef, you're the best. So it was just kind of that stuff throughout for like 4 days straight. Shout out to the Loop Travel. I know we did that too when we went out there, but those guys are just a killer business. We had like half the guys that were on our shuttle, or all the guys that were on the Loop shuttle, had never been on it before. And 5 minutes in, they're just like, this is an outrageous thing. I think their tagline is the trip starts now. And the whole point is just that, like, you don't have to drive some miserable 2.5, 3 hours packed into like a minivan and have that be a shitty part of your trip. Your trip's supposed to be awesome the whole time. So the Loop Travel, go check them out on Instagram, reach out to them. They do an unbelievable job. They got like 8 leather captain's chairs that like rotate. They got a cooler on there. The guy, he just texts you like the day before. We're like, we want some Trulies. We want a couple beers. We love a bottle of vodka. He's got all that ready. They got a bathroom on the damn thing. Our buddy Izzy, I think, pissed 7 times on the way down there in the bathroom. It's a 2.5 hour drive. So that's a world record. But yeah, unbelievable trip. Uncle Tony, last thing on that is that it's Matt Janella, who's a great friend of mine, the Fire Pit Collective. He was at Golf Channel for a lot. I brought him up a lot on the show. But his Uncle Tony, who passed away, I believe, in 2016, was sort of the guy that got Matt really, really into golf. He was obsessed with putting together like huge golf events and golf trips. Dude, Matt starts the event the first night at the opening night. He had a 20-minute video that's got all the highlights from the history of the event. They've been doing it for like 12 or 15 years. It's got all the highlights. It's got all the funny moments. And then it's got a bunch of footage of his Uncle Tony. When people come off the putting course at the Punch Bowl, he's hugging people. He's got like a cigar. So it's all this footage like mixed in. And then it just kind of finishes being like in memory of Uncle Tony for the dog, which was kind of their tagline. So it's like you're out there already doing this whole event in memory of Matt Janella's Uncle Tony, who by all accounts was just the man. And then a bunch of the guys on the trip are his buddies or his family. So he's still like living on through them. And everybody's kind of having these moments throughout the whole deal. Tom Pashley's on the trip. So it's like I've got a lot of friends throughout that are on the trip. So it was an insane time. There's a lot of, like you were talking about, Frankie, there's a lot of hugging. There's a lot of I love you, man. There's a lot of tears. Everybody's all fired up and just being like, this is the coolest shit ever. So insane time at Bandon. That place is just, that place gets better.
I gotta get back out there. We had that first experience. We went out there for videos, and it's like you're like stressed about like wanting to make a good video. You're at Bandon for the first time. My clubs got lost because we had a crazy connection, which is now why I'm a Shipsticks user for the rest of my life. I literally played trails with like regular flex, like not even close to the same clubs that I would have usually had, and it got in my head, and I had a bad first experience, all because freaking airline lost my club. So I have to get back out there with like a better clean thinking, clean sense of mind.
You just have to, because it really is as special as it gets. And then throughout the trip we're all kind of talking like, where do you because we get to do this stuff a lot. It's a lot of the guys on the trip. It's 22 guys, so you get all kinds of different personalities and people. That some guys are in the golf world, some guys have nothing to do with the golf world. They're friends of Matt Janella's from San Diego, and so it's just kind of a big mix. And they're like, of all the places, where do you really think is the best and the best place like to go in the US for pure golf? And I said, look, I'm the biggest Pinehurst guy in the world. Pinehurst is always up there for me, but I think pure golf, I really just don't know how you could beat Bandon Dunes. It's 5 golf courses that are ranked inside the top 75 in the country, all within an easy 2-minute shuttle from one another. It's pure. The architects are great. It's Core and Crenshaw and Tom Doak, David McClay Kidd. And then the weather is so fun. It's like, yes, you get really nice, beautiful days, but you also kind of want it to be a little bit like grindy at times. You kind of want to feel like it's old school golf the way it was meant to be. You're on the coast. There's gorse bushes. you're just kind of looking around, and then in every direction, it's just people doing what you're doing on all these different courses. You get to certain points on like Pacific Dunes, and you can see Old McDonald, you can see Sheep Ranch, you can see all this stuff around you. You're just like, what in the literal hell is this? And then we were talking about just Mike Kaiser and having that vision in the late 1990s where like golf travel, like the big cedars and the Pinehurst, and like kind of the Pinehurst has existed for a long time, but Pinehurst sort of like transforming into welcoming more of this buddies golf trip type of crew instead of like parents and corporate stuff, and the stream songs and all these places like popping up and existing now is largely because of that. And people like learning that this model works. If you build something in a pretty remote spot near Branson, Missouri, or Bandon, Oregon, or Cabot that's up in Inverness, Nova Scotia, it's like there was no proof of concept that people were going to come and spend their money and travel all the way there when they're like, I'd go to a big city and find a pretty decent golf course. I'm just going to do that. Like, I don't need to go. And man, it has fucking worked out. And Bandon was kind of the OG of that. So you do got to get back there. It's a spectacular place. It was
this work laptop I have. I was like starting to like stutter a little bit because this work laptop that I have, all of a sudden, as of today, is just changing the background like every 10 minutes. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it updated. Like, look at this background I have to try and deal with.
Dude, is that a sloth?
Dude, as I'm speaking, this thing just popped up and has been staring through my soul. I have no idea why or how, but like that's like a lot to handle, you know? Like you can't. Who would make that their background?
That's unbelievable.
That's a lot. What is?
So I need that to change because I was like, I didn't know what was happening.
Is that a sloth? Am I wrong?
The sloth, yeah.
I think it's a sloth.
Unbelievable. Killed me. I like started looking at it. I'm like, I can't talk right now. It's still looking at me right now. Look at him with that fucking smug ass face.
With football season in full swing, it's a perfect time to talk about the MVP of golf carts, Easy Go vehicles. Look, nobody's even close. Life's better in a golf cart. I'm going to be down in Pinehurst this weekend for a few days. A bunch of my college buddies coming in. Golf's fine. All that part's cool. Maybe the thing I'm most excited about is to load them up. We got a 4-seater, load them up in that golf cart and just cruise around town. It's so fun. You get the wind blowing through your hair. It feels great outside. It's going to be like 70 degrees during the day. It's going to be like 50 degrees at night. Easy Go does it better than anybody. Got cool rims on there. I'm going to post it on my Instagram story. Easy Go golf carts are just the best in the business.
I see people driving around my neighborhood all the time. No joke, all the time in Easy Go golf carts. And they are the happiest people. None of them are upset. None of them are in a bad mood because they're heading somewhere where they're going to have a good time, whether it be golf, they're going to grab coffee or lunch or dinner, but they're living a carefree lifestyle because they are in an Easy Go golf cart and they can just cruise around town. And I'm telling you, the happiest people I see are the people who are just driving around in an Easy Go golf cart. Bar none, the happiest people.
It's the happiest that I am is when I'm driving around in my Easy Go. It's unbelievable. It's way too easy today, too, to be fooled by flashiness of some newer brands. Easy Go's been around for a long, long time. They've proven their reliability and quality time and time again. We're going to hook one of our listeners up, by the way, with one of these bad boys. All you got to do is visit barstoolclassic.com/EasyGo sweeps to enter to win a brand new Easy Go Express S4. That is barstoolclassic.com/EasyGo sweeps. All you got to do is enter and you can win a free Easy Go from us.
You want to talk a little Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, we're down 2-0. You got everyone coming back to the Bronx. The Bronx will be on fire tonight, hopefully, and it's not good. It's not great, you know. I'm not jumping ship just yet, though. Like, you know,
can't.
Series doesn't start until you lose one at home, I always say. And you just need guys, you know. Aaron Judge setting records for most strikeouts in the postseason. Like I think he's 19 for 39, 19 strikeouts at 39 at bats is as bad as it gets. If that's really as bad as it gets. And yeah, I don't know. Like I saw people saying they're going to start booing him tonight if he strikes out. Like I think the guy is he's a superhero during the regular season. He's historically bad in the postseason. I don't know what you're supposed to do with a guy like that. Because like he has it in him. he's able to be the best hitter in the world at any given moment. So like, do you really get down on him, or do you like cheer him into like that better mindset of thinking that I can hit any ball that is pitched to me? The Yankees have always had the Bronx cheers, which are just boos. That's what Yankees fans are famous for. You boo your best players until they perform. So it's not going to be, if it does happen tonight, it's not something that he's not going to be used to. It's been happening for years now. So yeah, I mean, they just didn't. You have a couple of guys that are showing up. Giancarlo Stanton being one of them. The pitching was fine. Like the bullpen did great in game 2. They held them to 4 runs. Like they did the job.
So
I don't know.
A superstar. Soto's a superstar, obviously.
Soto is a superstar. It's Soto and Stanton right now. That's really all it is. But I'm gonna be back there tonight with those absolute lunatics and fucking Meek Phil, who's just a guy that I cannot handle. I can't handle him. Like my brain wasn't able to like. He doesn't stop, and he's so innocent. He's the nicest guy ever, and he's so funny. I told him I am a Meek Phil fan. If anyone doesn't know who I'm talking about, this guy at Barstool Sports, you've seen him. You've seen him on the Mets streams. You've seen him filming at the office. He kind of just like sloths around and gets on the ground and films everything. He's one of the hardest workers at the company. He's nonstop. He's also just a very special mind. Like the way he's a sports ticker. Like every guy that gets up, he has a stat for him. And he's just like, and in your ear, like, he's like kind of rooting along with the Yankees, even though he hates the Yankees and he wants the Yankees to absolutely lose. Like Soto will be up and be like, oh, so like Soto's 9 for his last 14 against this guy. You're actually in a good spot. And you're just turning around like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, let us watch this goddamn game.
Him celebrating that home run when the rest of the room was plus 450. It was holding the teddy bear was so fucking funny. If anybody hasn't seen it, I don't know how you're
let's go.
I don't know how you're gonna find it, but him stepping in dog shit is one of the funniest videos that Barstool Sports has ever put out. I
wouldn't want it any other way. Like Meek Phil has to be in that room. He just like I texted, so Roan texted me because Meek Phil was like, you're a fake Yankee fan, and it's like, because I hadn't been there for the other streams. Meanwhile, it's like, Meek, we've been here for fucking years doing this shit.
Right.
We've been on the road. Like, I mean, like we've been fucking grinding. The Ellie Schnitt stream, like Meek needs to go watch the tape. Like that was that's one of the worst ways to ever watch one of your teams play a postseason game of all time, but also one of the greatest content videos ever made.
So good.
Ellie Schnitt having to describe an entire baseball game to us, what was happening. We couldn't watch the game. We could not watch the game. Ellie Schnitt had a TV who does not know ball.
Did it go to commercial?
Dude, the worst was during that game we were talking about it. There was an umpire change because one of the guys had like a stroke. Remember that? He had like a heat stroke.
That's right. Yeah.
He like passed out. So she's trying to describe this. She goes, there's a man in a suit on the field. And I stand up and I go, what is happening on that screen? She goes, there's a man in a suit and they are stopping play. So then I looked at Hubs. I said, is it a terrorist attack? I said, what? There's a man in a suit on the field and all the players are leaving the field, she said. So we were like, oh my God, holy shit. Holy shit.
Oh man. I know this is like what we're talking about right now is very inside Barstool, but if the people that have watched it and that were there watching the stream that you're talking about, it was so fucking funny, man.
Oh my
God.
So
funny.
Dude. Yeah. I mean, I'll explain it again. We had someone that has claimed, and she was very honest. She's never watched a game of baseball in her life. She had no idea what was happening. She doesn't know what a double is. She doesn't know what a double play is. She doesn't know how many outs there should be. Our punishment as Yankees fans for not cleaning up our Chinese food in the office the night before, we left it all in the streaming area. Our punishment was that Ellie Schnitt had to describe the next game for us. She would watch the game and we would be looking at her with the TV to the back of the TV facing us. So a full 9-inning game. And it was chaos, absolute chaos. And you had Jared Carabas in the back going crazy every time something good would happen. And there was one like home run where she was like, it's a pop, it's in the air. And she's like, they're running around and we're like, where is it? She's like, it's still in the air. And then she's like, oh, it's no longer there. And we're like, is that a home run? And she's like, we're at commercial. We're like, no. And then like you find out that it was like the guy robbed a home run. It was like one of the greatest plays in World Series history. But she like didn't understand any of it. She's like, the ball's in the air. It's gone now. The ball's no longer on the screen, and we're like, that means it's a home run? No, there's a commercial for Chase. So we're like, okay, so it's an out.
Oh,
whatever.
Ohtani
so
playing? Is Ohtani playing tonight? I know people are going to know by the time.
Yeah, he's playing tonight. Apparently, he pops his shoulder out like all the time. He has like one of these ridiculous shoulders that, yeah, he's like quadruple jointed or whatever it is, and his shoulder just pops out and pops back in. There's like videos of him like bending his arms all the way around like an alien.
I admittedly haven't been following baseball as closely as I used to, but when I see him at the plate, I feel like I'm looking at a robot. He
actually hasn't even been that big of a factor of these.
He really hasn't been.
No, it's Freddie Freeman's been an absolute disaster for the Yankees. And it's always that guy that like you walk someone to get to him, and then he ends up fucking hitting the grand slam. It's not good. It's definitely not great in the Bronx. But tonight's a big night. I'll be back on the stream. And it is what it is. It just definitely doesn't feel like a World Series to me. Like we all have like those memories of watching sports, and specifically with me with the Yankees. I was so young when they went on that run. 96, 98, 97, 98, 99. So sorry, 96, 98, 99, 2000. You have 4 World Series in 5 years, and I'm 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Like I'm fucking, like that's like your introduction to sport. You're like, I said it on the stream, but it's like, Papa, like, do we not lose? Like, what is this that you're introducing me to that every year I watch, they win? Like, that is what sport is. That was my introduction. Like, every night watching it with my dad, and we would go to like specific places. I remember like his friend Sal's house or his friend Mike's house, and like they would have these ridiculous basements with all Yankees stuff. It was the late 90s, it was the early 2000s. It was just different. Like you turned on that primetime game, you heard the jingle, you had the announcers. It was like postseason baseball. It was cold outside. I was getting ready for Halloween. Like that was so exciting to me. And now I'm in the room with Meek Phil and we're watching it. And like, there's like, we're eating Applebee's, and you know what I mean? It's great for the content. It's great for the clips. Great. I love being there. I love watching the Islanders, but this is what I'm kind of mean. Like I have to do this for the Islanders, but I made it. Oh, I thought I just heard someone say something, but no one's home. So I might be getting killed. If you see someone open that door and just shoot me behind the back, that just means that it's the end for me. But because there's definitely someone in this house. I just heard something. But I made the Islander streams like my home. Yeah. Like I brought it to Borelli's. I got all my family to watch with me. I've got my dad next to me. I've got Stu Feiner. I've got my mom. I've got my cousins, my sister. I've got my wife. I'm at Borelli's. Like there's something about watching that Yankee game in that office that it did not feel like a World Series to me. It was almost a little sad. Like I was just watching a game, and I didn't love that. Like I had that vision of we're back in the World Series. I need to be in this spot, and no, I didn't have that. So I don't know. It's a little sad.
That is.
I know what you mean.
I wish that we could figure out a Borelli's version of Yankees. I asked Tommy, like, let's go to like some spot outside Yankee Stadium with fans, and like we need that energy. We're in the World Series, man. Like this is fucking crazy that we're sitting in this office. Like let's go get creative with this thing. Let's get to like some old school fucking Italian restaurant in the Bronx. And like, let's do something. You know what I mean? Like go to Billy's or Stan's or like the bar. I don't know anything. I need energy tonight. I need energy in this building tonight.
The Islanders streams when they would play the Bruins and you would be at the bar in Boston. Oh, it's the best thing I've ever seen.
I have this picture right here.
You're screaming at everybody. Fuck you.
So good. Can I see the sloth one more time? There he is.
Sloth.
Yeah, no, but there's also a magic like to people watching, and I know what you're saying, but there's a magic to watching 6 diehard Yankee fans crammed into a room with Meek Phil, who's holding a teddy bear, and watching that happen too.
Totally.
It gets
it
just hasn't really gone your guys' way.
The Mets.
Hasn't
I enjoyed watching the Mets.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a very big nostalgia and feels guy and emotions guy, and I was eating these weird desserts from Applebee's, sitting there listening to Meek Phil rattle off like his bets, and I'm like, "Fuck, man, we're in the World Series. This is crazy."
Yeah,
just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, it's either 2-1 or 3-0 as people are listening to this.
Hopefully, it's not 3-0. That would be bad. That would be bad.
3-0 is tough. Speaking of 3-0, I watched the comeback on Netflix.
I can't bring myself to watch that, but I do want to watch it because I've heard it's really good, and like, there's nothing quite like early 2000s baseball was just different. Players were different, the vibes were different, the attitudes were different, the fans knew it meant more. There's just something about it, and like the curse and Yeah, it's a really bad rewatch for Yankees fans, but it's also the greatest story in sports. Coming back 3-0, the Red Sox versus the Yankees. It's hard to remove yourself from it, but you got to watch it.
I hadn't realized how truly like big of beauties the Red Sox players were at that time. Like they were like ripping shots on like game day. I mean, they were outrageous, the shit that they were doing. And yeah, it's interesting to go through that because obviously you remember it. It's one of the coolest things in sports, like you said, big story, but all the little stuff. Millar, who's like, we've done stuff with him now, like watching him back in his prime, and he's a big part of the documentary and going through and telling stories, and then there's all the drama when they go on ESPN and they end up talking shit on accident, and A-Rod was supposed to come there, but then he didn't, and it's just like, dude, reliving all that stuff. I know it's hard for you, but got me in the mood for the Fall Classic, but yeah.
When the Red Sox hadn't won one, everything meant way more. Especially
the players, we're experiencing it a little bit now with Ohtani versus Judge and Stanton and Soto and Freeman and Betts and Yamamoto. You got huge names in one World Series, but like that time, the Red Sox and the Yankees, those teams were like, you got David Ortiz facing Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter, and like it was and Pedro Martinez, and like this was it. Kurt Schilling and the bloody sock and all this stuff. Like it just felt different. Like the names were godlike, like that matchup was everything. I don't know. I don't know what happened to baseball in those like early 2000s and late 90s. Like it was very magical and like movie like. And now everything just goes so fast. I don't know if it's just social media and all these clips and the fact that everything's so accessible and we can watch any game anywhere. I could watch a game on a watch at this point. You know what I mean? Like you can just watch a game anywhere. And like back then it was such a big moment when the Yankees played the Red Sox on ESPN on Sunday Night Baseball in the playoffs, and there was like history to it, and just the way the broadcast, I don't know, maybe everyone feels that way about every nostalgic thing when they were younger, but I just feel like now things just kind of just happen and they pass by, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't have that bite, that absolute bite that like you'll remember for the rest of your life. Is this Yankees run something? If the Yankees come back and win, is this going to rival those feelings of the late 90s and early 2000s? No. Is it going to have that bite, that like insane, like that euphoric feeling? I'm sure it will because you won a World Series, but I don't know. There's something about it that doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, I don't know how it definitely doesn't feel the same to me. But again, I wasn't a Yankees Red Sox fan, so maybe it was. But I remember being, I was in a shout out to me, a little prep school up in New England. So it's like I was thrust into this New England environment where it was like in Connecticut, right between New York and Boston. And then all of a sudden, those years or when I was in high school and experiencing that, being like, even me feeling Cardinals fan, Cardinals got a lot of history. Cardinals was a team they fucking beat that year when they won the World Series. But like being up there for that was insane. It was insane being in the middle of those two teams. It was insane that in the first year, whatever that was, 2003, when like the Yankees won in Game 7 after coming back from down, whatever the hell it was, 4-0. And it was like the whole narrative was that the Red Sox are never going to be able to do it. They cannot do it. It's impossible for them to do it. The Yankees are clean cut and they've got Jeter and they're handsome and they're the pinstripes and it's just, they're unbeatable. They're like Iceland and Mighty Ducks. It's like they just can't be beat. They're just too perfect. And here come these like, scrapping and a little bit rough around the edges Sox. And like, you're right. That stuff was it was so meaningful. And going into those series, like they have a great clip in the documentary going into Game 1 of the 2004 series where they're like, it is impossible for this series to live up to the hype. That is how crazy the hype is. And then it was like the best series of all time. And so yeah, I hope the World Series starts to deliver. I
think tonight I'll get a little bit of a different feeling. I'm already feeling like the hairs kind of stick up on the back of my neck, just thinking about the Bronx. I think it's a me problem. I think there's a lot of Yankee fans probably listening to this being like, we've been experiencing this series, this run, the way we always did. This has been great. We're watching with our families. We're going to the games. We're going to the bars. I've been on the road. So I am projecting a lot of like my feelings on this World Series. I'm sure that is not the way that everyone else is perceiving it because I've been in New York for one game. We were in Hawaii and then I was on the road in Jersey for a whole weekend. And then like, it's just like, I'm constantly on the road. I was in Big Cedar for the beginning of the playoffs. I'm never home to like experience it. I haven't watched one playoff game with my dad and we're in the World Series. We're in Game 3 of the World Series. I haven't watched one playoff game with them. So that's why I just think that this one's just kind of passing me by, unfortunately. And I'm trying to dig my feet into the dirt and just be like, let's fucking settle down. Like tonight we settle down. I'm home. I'm going to get into the city early. I'm going to grab a drink with Tommy Smokes. We might have a couple appetizers at the Triple Crown across the street. It's going to feel a little bit more like there's a big night ahead of us, you know?
You haven't won one in 15 years.
Right.
That's how you should look at it, because it's true.
Right. 2009, 15 years. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. The Yankee fans that I know that I've talked to that aren't on the road, and I totally get that, that's how they're looking at it. They're like, we're the New York Yankees,
right?
And we haven't won a World Series in 15 years.
This is our shot.
Yeah.
And we've been waiting for it. We've had great teams. We've had bad teams. We've spent a lot of money. And this is it. Like this, you're right. This is the time. And we got to do it. Aaron Judge tonight, I'm putting a DraftKings home run for sure. Home run bet. He's hitting one. Wow. He's hitting one tonight at Yankee Stadium. And it's going to be the greatest moment.
I'm kind of feeling a little something. Get him going.
Dude, the home run bets are great. The other bets on DraftKings that are great are the next pitch. So I was starting to get the energy going in like the 9th inning when the Yankees got up. And I said, next pitch is going to be a ball. And we were all rooting for a ball because like you want the Dodgers to kind of get like that closer was starting to feel it. There was bases loaded, obviously, like everything was, and the next pitch was a ball. And we were like, keep it going. Like you got to start getting the energy up, moving your way, moving your direction. So I'll be doing a lot of strike and ball bets tonight. It's very fun.
They have that.
Dude, it's like next pitch. Is it going to be a strike? Is it going to be a ball, or is it going to be in play? I think there's 3 options.
Wow.
It's ball hit by pitch. It's strike, foul ball, and then it's in play. And there's 3 different options. Ball for first pitch is usually plus like 120, 130.
That reminds me of like fairway, fairway.
It's electric. Mm-hmm. You know, I was sitting there. I was like, ball. And then there was an inside sweeper to Soto. And on the broadcast on Fox, if it's a strike, it lights up yellow. If it's not, it's just a invisible circle or like whatever, just the outline of a yellow. And they threw the sweeper to him. He took it, and I went yes. And then it was yellow, and I went no. And then they called it a ball. And I was like, yeah. Well, it's incredible.
That's where you're really dependent on the umpire. Like we can move on from the World Series, but that first game, that ump didn't know what the strike zone was. It was like a theoretical idea of low and away. Like, what are these strikes? What are they?
Last game, he was perfect. He was a perfect umpire.
First game was bad.
So yeah, I'm excited. Tommy Smokes, when are you getting here, my baby? That's what he texted me. Let's go.
To put it simply, Precision Pro makes the best rangefinders in golf, offering the most accurate, durable, and feature-rich options on the market. I got a new one that's got this really cool, like Payne Stewart rangefinder holder, and then it's a USA-themed rangefinder that Precision Pro makes, and the thing is just phenomenal.
I love Precision Pro. It's the best rangefinder I've ever used. Run into these guys usually at the Louisville Barstool Classic. They come out, they play. Just a couple of dudes, Precision Pro guys. They give me a couple, and I give them to my buddies, and my buddies love them. Like they've got a great weight. You can get the front of the green, the back of the green. You hit the pin. Yeah, they've got the magnet on it. It's got everything you need in a rangefinder, and most importantly, the numbers are reliable. If it's 117, it's 117. If it's 134, it's 134, and that is huge with a rangefinder, and nobody does it better than Precision Pro.
Whether you just want a simple rangefinder like the NX9 Slope, you want a rangefinder with over 30 interchangeable designs like the NX10 Slope, or the absolutely best of the best that they've got like the Titan and the Titan Elite. Doesn't matter. They got options for everybody. Head over to precisionprogolf.com today. Use the code FOREPLAY, and you're going to get $30 off all rangefinders. Giving you $30 off right now. FOREPLAY, one word, FOREPLAY, at precisionprogolf.com. We had a little TGL meeting this morning. We had a little informational meeting on the TGL with the TGL. Since we did our whole little show last time, we were talking quite a bit about it. They released the schedule. We kind of did what we do on this show a lot, where we talked about it at length, even though we don't really know anything about it. We don't really know a lot of the details. We don't really know exactly how it's going to work. It is the whole show.
Facts before fiction.
That's correct. And so we had like a little 30-minute meeting powwow with the folks from TGL. I thought it got me pretty goddamn excited. There's a lot of technology involved, and there's a lot of very innovative thinking, more so than I guess I envisioned going into this thing. I think the common stereotype chirp is like, oh yeah, who the hell wants to watch these pro golfers that aren't that exciting anyways hit into a simulator screen? Like, what if we could go do that ourselves, whatever. However, what I didn't really realize, obviously it's going to be stadium, there's going to be fans and all that there, but the interactiveness of the green, this like field that they're going to have, the 64 feet, I think, is how big the screen is, which they showed us a little graphic that had like a 5-story building, a normal simulator screen. And then this simulator screen that they're going to have is hilariously large. The holes they're releasing like 2 holes a week. I think they said 10 or so of them are out already. But the holes, because it's a simulator, it's a virtual world, not a real world. They've got actual architects that have designed the holes, but they're not limited by typical things that you would be limited by. It's almost like they're in the damn Matrix. They're able to just make whatever the hell they want. And so the holes that they've created are wild, absolutely wild so far. The green is it's going to be the same green. It's a big green complex with a couple bunkers that I think 3 bunkers. That's kind of the same size like a basketball court. And the green rotates. So all this stuff's going to happen automatically to fit into each different hole so that you're hitting into a different angle because the green rotates. And then I think it's from like 35 or 50 yards out that once you get to that distance, they have an actual place, teeing ground, which is real grass on that, where they're going to tee off from, and you just play your ball into the hole from there. The brakes on the greens.
Well, not only that, Riggs, there's going to be a light that comes from the ceiling that's going to pinpoint a light on somewhere on the surface that says this is where your ball landed. They're going to have to go to that part, and they're going to have to hit their shot onto a real green, which is like, it's like a light from God that's like, this is where yours landed on the screen.
Right. And then, yes, you put your ball there, wherever that light goes, and then you just play the ball into the cup, ball and hole from there. A lot of tech. They got like, what do you say, like 40 cameras or something that are in this. I think there's 8 or so alone that are just cameras that pick up the golf ball. And then there's cameras, like 70 cameras or something, I can't remember, that outfit the entire SoFi stadium. So they're going to have like all the guys huddling up. The way the format goes, it's like 3 of the 4 guys from the team playing in each given match. And then there's alternate shot, which we love. We raved about alternate shot on this very show all the time. We did it last week, I think. But they're going to do like 3 person alternate shot for the first, I think it's like 9 holes. In the final 6 holes, 15-hole deal. Final 6 holes is just one guy plays 2 holes, singles match. Then the next guy's up, he plays 2 holes of singles match. And then the next guy's up, he plays 2 holes of singles match. And then just total points wins that match. There's going to be a lot of camaraderie with the guys going back to like their little, they have like a bench. And on that bench, they've got control of kind of the screen. They're going to choose and talk through what they should do. And so it got me hyped up. I know there's parts, and they even said on the call, people are going to make fun of certain parts. Certain stuff's not going to work. I think we're all incredibly nervous and anxious about the technology working because it is this mix of real life and golf and fans, but it's live TV and it's technology. We've all been in simulators before where you hit one, that was my best swing of the day, and then it doesn't register. So there's a lot of fear. Sounds like they've hit thousands and thousands of shots. They're doing all the testing, and hopefully nothing goes wrong. But I thought it was kind of an enlightening little meeting that we had with them.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, I had a lot of takeaways from it. I didn't know if we wanted to wait. He's going to send us this kind of photo slideshow. I do think for the people that do watch on our Rumble and our YouTube and that do watch this podcast, it will be nice to show you exactly the differences of what we originally said and then what's actually happening. Like, I feel like we had no idea what was going on with the TGL. You did just outline it pretty well, where it's like there's so much more going into it than we realized. Something as simple as when the course architects made these golf holes for the TGL, they actually, every green is the green that they have in the stadium. So it's got 2 bunkers on one side, it's got 1 bunker on the far side, and they can maneuver that green depending on however they want it. They can have it be rotated one way, rotate the other way. So that's physically, like when you're looking at the overview of a golf hole and you think about any simulation golf place that you've been to, it gives you a tee to green kind of flyover and you see the green up there. That green is going to be the same exact style green that they're going to have in the building. So if an architect has the 2 bunkers on the right side and the bunker in the back, when you hit your approach shot, the actual physical green inside the stadium is going to shift to that exact angle that architect made that green in the virtual world. So if you go for a green and in the virtual world, you hit this shot, Tiger Woods hits this shot and he kind of hooks it a little bit too much. And on the screen, you see this ball kind of dribble out towards the left side of the green, and now he has to chip over a bunker. In the virtual world, that green is going to actually rotate. It's going to be on a circular moving bed that's going to rotate, so that Tiger now has to chip over that exact bunker that was in the video. So it is really combining virtual with reality, because the results are going to look exactly the same from the video as on the screen, if that makes any sense. It's not like you're hitting onto some fake green on the screen, and then all of a sudden it doesn't look like that in real life. So I thought that was really cool. I thought the fact that they're going to be hitting from a further distance away from the screen, so you see some shot shape, I think that's really cool. So it's actually there's going to be no you're going to know how the guy hit it based off of how he makes contact. I feel like sometimes when you play in a simulation, you're hitting the screen so fast that you're like, I don't even know how it picked up that kind of left to right movement or that right to left movement. I think that you're going to see enough shot shape. If a guy has to hit a low stinger under a tree or whatever, you're actually going to see that trajectory hit the screen. You're going to see him hit a high fade. You're going to hit him see a high draw. I thought that was really cool. I think the fact that there are 40-second shot clocks that are strictly enforced, and there's no caddies. So when you have Tiger Woods and Max Homa on a green and they're discussing what they think for alternate shot, Tiger Woods just hit this one to 15 feet. Max Homa now has to make the putt. It's coming down to the end. It's on the 8th hole. They're about to go into singles after 2 more holes. And like, they're really, really trying to get this birdie. You've got Tiger Woods and Max Homa. They're both talking through this shot. They have a 40-second shot clock, so they can't do aim point. They can't walk around the other side of the green. This is legitimately like prime time visioning, prime time watching of golf, and 2 of the best golfers, 2 of the best personalities talking through a shot, and they're going to have to execute it within 40 seconds. That's game changing. And I thought that was like really cool. The fact that they're not going to be able to kind of go, there's a lot of like things that we don't do as golfers that professional golfers do that kind of loses us, and it makes the rounds really long. Like we've seen that video of Max Homa, and I think there was like 3 different guys that were all doing aim point at the same time. Maybe it was Wyndham, it was Max. They were all walking around the greens. You're like, what is that? That's not, I don't even know what that is. They had to cut away to a commercial before they even hit their next putt. So yeah, I think it's going to be great. And the other thing that I thought was cool was when they go to a commercial, the play stops, just like when you watch a basketball game. Like when you when you watch a basketball game and they go to a commercial, those guys are on their bench, they're talking, they're drinking water, they're talking with their coach, and then when the broadcast comes back, the play is back. In golf right now, it's such long form that when they go to a commercial, you miss a couple shots, you miss the entertainment, you miss the actual sport that's going on behind the commercial. So it's going to play just like an NFL game or an NBA game or an MLB game, where there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, there's going to be a regulation points, there's going to be overtime points, just like hockey. It's great. I think it's going to be awesome. They really got me jazzed up in that meeting, because I think they have a pretty good setup for like, hey, this team won. They're now in first place. I've talked about this like for the last couple of years. I want to be able to look at something that looks like a professional sports league. Like, this team is 2-1-1. They're playing Jupiter next week, and they need to get a win. Like, Tiger needs to start playing better, and Max Homa needs to start playing better, and my New York guys need to start playing better. Cam Young and Matt Fitzpatrick need to show up next week against Tiger and Max. Like we're gonna have things to root for. We really will. And the technology is insane. So real bunkers, real sand, rotating greens, rotating shots. It's cool. It is really cool.
Yeah, it got me pretty hyped up too. I gotta find a team, man. None of these teams.
I got a New York team, which is great.
Jupiter,
New York. Trent's got Jupiter. I did live in Boston for a while. I love Boston. Maybe I could be the Boston team. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think one of the best parts about golf and playing buddies golf is talking through shots. It's why we love the alternate shot when we film those videos, dude. And when you stand there on the tee with your partner, and he's like, all right, man, I know you're hitting that little cut today. I really want you to aim at that left bunker. I think it's going to be perfect. The wind's kind of coming off the left for you, hitting it out there. And the fact that we're going to have the sharpest minds in the game out there with each other, talking through certain golf shots, that we're going to have Tiger and Max Homa sitting up there strategizing where he should hit it and why and how it's going to react on this green, or it's an easier putt from this side of the hole. like all that shit times a million, because they're so much smarter and better than the average player, is going to be fascinating. It's why we love the caddy conversations on tour. Like when they just shut off, when the broadcasters don't speak, they get a sense for that moment. They've got a mic right in there, and they panned at Joe Griner and Max Homa in the right rough, talking through how this ball is going to come out, and then he executes on it. Like those conversations are fucking incredible. So now the fact that you're going to have a lot of these guys together, having those conversations, they're going to be in an environment where they know it's an entertainment product. So they're probably going to be talking a little bit of shit to the other guys. I just think there's a chance. No guarantee. And I know team golf, Liv's been doing team golf for a few years. There's certain parts about that we like, don't like. I do like the format a lot better, Frankie, like you said, because it's cleaner. It's just the team golf. No one's going out there and posting their own score. There's not an individual tournament and a team tournament going on. It's just mano a mano. Our team against your team. Most points, they win.
And it's not like you can win 3 and 2. And like, if my wife is watching with me, she's like, I don't even know what that means. It's going to be New York beats Jupiter 6-4 tonight. And like, that was the win. And they didn't go to overtime. They won in regulation. And at the end of and even if you're getting blown out 10-2, they're going to have most holes won as a tie-breaking part of the standing. So at the end of the year, whoever gets into the playoffs, they're going to go by that if they are tied. I thought that was great. Yeah, man. And I did ask one question where I was like, so when I go to a simulator, if I go to a golf zone and I want to hit this shortcut shot, like I want to go over the trees, I have to actually go over to a screen and I have to hit right, and then it moves your aim angle all the way to the right. And now the center of the screen is now showing more my new aim point. I said, are you guys going to have to do that for this? And he said, that's actually one of the more important parts of this stadium, is that they're going to have this little caddy screen. It's like a TV that the whole entire team is going to huddle around, and they're going to make all their decisions off that. They're going to see exactly how far it is to get to a bunker. They're going to see exactly how far it is to cover some water, and they're going to be moving their finger all around the screen. He said there's going to be a camera on that, so you're going to see Tiger like walk like just like this, like walking up to a TV, and he's going to be moving shit around, and they're going to move that aim point. So that's going to be a lot of conversation as well. Being like, what do you like to see? Where do you like to aim this? Like Tiger, when you want to hit it over this tree, like how far right do you actually, what's your center line look like? I think we're going to learn a lot of things about the game of golf. And the last thing I'll say that we missed, and I know that a lot of people mentioned this to me on Twitter, was that when we were talking about how the drive is actually not the most important thing, like especially for the viewer, like kind of all the same. They're just hitting it down the middle. If they hit a bad shot, yes, that adds to the drama. But like we really need to see the approach shots and the putts. The other thing that TGL does eliminate is that long walk from the ball to the fairway. Like you're talking like a 3-minute like difference of once they hit that shot, like they are now on the approach shot within seconds and a minute. So you don't have that walk. You don't have to do the walk and talk. They're just all right there. They are simplifying the game. They're making it 130 yards. I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely, and we have no this is no sponsorship or we don't have like a TGL ad read today. This is just something that like we think is really exciting, and it's going to be huge for the game of golf. I think it's going to be on ESPN, like prime time for how many weeks? Like 14 weeks of this. Like it's going to be, it's all we're going to be seeing all for the next, from January until whenever. So it's going to be great.
It's very unique to have something come from nothing. Like this hasn't been done before. It's like Live is still it's a golf tournament. They go out, they play 18 holes, and it's the same product. This is like a completely different sport, basically, that they're inventing a league from, and the way that they're going to structure it format wise, the way that they're going to execute on the shots within the game of the way that they're building a stadium from scratch. They're just building an entire stadium that is custom made, every inch of it perfectly for this idea to be an entertainment product that goes on live TV, but also is welcoming and holds the integrity of golf to Tiger Woods and some of the best players in the world. Like how often does someone come out with just a new game that has its own stadium? It's like the fucking movie Basketball. It's like they're just coming out with their own stadium all of a sudden that has its own thing. So it is going to be very interesting to see it. Like you said, Frankie, people are going to be. It's going to be all over social. It's going to be a damn whatever it is.
It's just going to be the thing
Tuesday
to watch.
Night.
Monday, Tuesday night, like on ESPN at 7:00. What else are you going to watch?
And I do think there's a chance, if done correctly, a virtual golf world could grab an audience that we're not even really aware of. Like the Twitch watchers of the world, they'll just be like, yeah, this is a virtual version of golf. Like for us and people our age and older, it's a huge leap. We're being like, what? We're taking this into a state-of-an-art stadium, and they're going to hit into screens, and what the hell is happening? There could be a younger demographic that's like, yeah, this is like, I go to Topgolf. I understand what this is completely. Like, I'm just going to watch these things, and it's not going to be that huge leap of guys who've been watching golf for 30 years in a particular way. I think if done correctly, they could get that audience. I'll be very curious to see if they do. But like virtual golf is obviously a huge, big deal, but it might not be to people who've been watching. They watch video games competitively. Like it's a whole fucking world.
100%. They're selling out arenas playing Call of Duty. Like I mean, Alex went to one of these events, and they're the biggest events that are going right now. It's like it rivals going to the biggest college football game or the biggest NFL game. Some of them are like as big as the Super Bowl in terms of like having to be there for like the Call of Duty championships, the world championships. Like it's impossible to get into these arenas. They're huge. So yeah, they are trying to grab that aspect or that viewership. But I think that the other important thing is that virtual golf is big in the fact that there's 5-iron golf, there's golf zones, there's X golf, there's Top Golf, there's all these different brands. They're all over the place. We were in freaking North Dakota and they had 1 million of these bars in Bismarck. Like we were like, there's no city in the world at this point that doesn't have some sort of lounge, some sort of bar that has a bunch of screens that you can hit shots into. So you talk about how big that is. And now this is just the professional version of that. Like, virtual golf is its own league. I mean, guys are literally in 5-iron and golf zone leagues. They go there, they have their teams, they have their matches, they go on Tuesday nights, they have their drinks. Like, you know how many people enjoy that? And now they get to watch the pros, the best, the biggest names, Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, go do that thing that they do every single night. It's the same as us watching them play Sawgrass, like a golf course that we can go play, or go play Bethpage. Like I get to go play Bethpage, and Tiger Woods can go play Bethpage during a Ryder Cup. I also play like simulator golf, and now Tiger Woods is going to play simulator golf on national television. Like it's just more bringing the relevancy to the game. It's all relevant. Like to me, at least, I think it's going to be great. I really do.
Yeah, it's interesting too if you think about it. Like I was watching the McMahon documentary about the WWF, now WWE, and at the end of it, they sort of talk about post McMahon era and how the WWE is doing, and it's thriving. And a huge part of that, as they talk about, is this introduction of appealing to kids. And they had like Nickelodeon. They had like a Nickelodeon segment that was part of the WWE, which 20 years ago, WWE was crazy. I mean, there were people doing cage matches, throwing each other on them. I'm sure they still do, like throwing each other on like Mick Foley. I remember got thrown on a bunch of thumbtacks and he's bleeding all over the place. And McMahon had all these storylines going where he's having an affair on his wife publicly with like this. And then now it's much more, they've leaned into like I said, they embraced Nickelodeon. The NFL did the whole Nickelodeon thing with the field goal post and the slime and the whole deal. Yeah. And it's like that is what the tour needs to get a younger fan base. Everybody knows that. PGA Tour professional golf needs to get a younger fan base. And just like you just said, it's like the virtual world is where the younger generation lives. That's what they do, man. They play video games. They do simulator golf. They do Top Golf. A lot of them's relationship to golf might be just Top Golf, where you go out, you hit. There's a big bonus when it hits a target and it lights up and the whole deal. And so I think that's another big part of it is kind of packaging golf for the younger generation by mixing in the virtual experience. Again, it could suck. Who the hell knows? Everybody could just make fun of it. But kind of what we saw today, and the more seeing the visuals, seeing them build that whole stadium from scratch. I know the roof got blown off last year and the whole deal, but looks like it's back and thriving. And yeah, I'm curious to see it. I think it could be pretty damn good.
If they don't catch the Jeff Shacklefords of the world, it's like that's not what this is for. This is not for that. He can just watch them play Thursday through Sunday. This is a whole new thing. It's a whole new commitment. Like if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. It's just they're going after the people that might tune in, and like it's a whole new demographic. And that I think is worth the risk of getting these guys into a new league. I think you risk their time or whatever it might be, their commitments, and you try this out. Like this is a great attempt to get a new fan base. I think they're going to nail it. And if they don't, like, it's not like golf as a sport goes away. This is like, this is just a Tuesday night. Like the game of golf is still going to survive. I think this is a great addition to the game that we love. We love to watch these guys do anything. We watch YouTube videos of these guys just like talking in a golf cart. We're going to get to watch that on ESPN. That's great. I mean, I don't know why that's not going to be good. So.
I do love the idea of a Tiger Woods fan, young Tiger Woods fan who's only seen him in the TGL, who's like, this guy's pretty great.
Oh yeah, the guy that wears red in the TGL is sick.
He's unbelievable. Where has this guy been?
I hope the players buy in. Like, I hope it's not this.
It's a big part of it. And that's when I saw alternate shot on the deck that we were shown, that fired me up because of all the reasons we've already talked about. It's like forced interaction, and it's going to force these guys to buy in, at least to a degree. And hopefully they get competitive and they actually want to win. But having to talk through shots with each other, I think that's going to get the juices going and they'll buy in.
Agreed.
2-hour matches too. I think that's a little bit more reasonable. I think some of the issues with like these matches is like these guys and eliminating the walks in between and having more personalities. It's like people would, I remember Tiger and Phil when they did the first one, and it was everybody's like, oh, there's going to be so much banter, and then it's like these guys aren't stand-up comedians. They're going to walk around for 4 hours and just entertain you and make you laugh. What are you, fucking crazy? They play golf for a living. So I think the more kind of personalities you can get in there together, and a condensed timeline, a condensed sort of like chain of events as things occur, could lead to a lot better, kind of more natural banter. And if you have 6 guys in any given match, they don't have to kind of front the whole and carry the whole load for entertaining the whole time. So it could be good. I think it could be good. Excited. And that was a nice deck. It was a lovely deck we got to see today.
Great deck.
I'm optimistic about the deck.
Shipsticks, baby. They create a stress-free travel experience for golfers. Frankie, I know you've been using them a lot the last couple of weeks, and it's really, really changed your traveling experience.
It's really hard to describe how incredible it feels to have a door-to-door service for your golf clubs. Like, be able to have that free thinking to go onto your trip and not worry about your clubs and know that this company was literally invented and built and is prosperous based off the fact of getting your golf clubs from position A to position B. That's all they care about. The experience is incredible. The people that work there. I personally, when I did this, I had a guy named Jack Ryan who was like head of like communications with certain clients or certain experience. It's like a VIP experience at Shipsticks. And this man, I actually want a picture in my house to be able to like pray to him, like just how incredible he made my life, where I had a bunch of golf clubs, and then all of a sudden a bunch of golf clubs ended up at the destination that we needed it at. Every single guy that went on the trip that I went on, all you Shipsticks, and it was life-changing. We're talking 16 individuals that are now Shipsticks users for life. Now, I know that a lot of people might think like, all right, I'm playing in a big match. I'm going on a big buddies trip. I kind of want to like warm up leading up to this event. I could see why you wouldn't want to send your clubs 3 or 4 days before. Maybe you don't want to splurge for the 1-day overnight shipping, so you want to bring your clubs with you. Shipping them back is something that everyone should think about baking into their trip. The idea of being able to leave the golf resort, leave the golf trip, leave the golf course if you're down there visiting family, and that's just their problem now. Like, you just leave that. You go to the airport with your non-checked bag, your carry-ons with you. You get on the plane, you get home, you get right into a car, and you're on your way home. We don't have much time on this earth. Like, we need to utilize every second that we have. And I'm not talking about a price that's outrageous. Like this isn't like telling you to go book a first-class ticket where it's a $400 upcharge. Like, you go online right now, they had deals in August for like $49.99 shipping. Like, this is, bags might be $35 for the first bag, $50 for the second bag, $100 like on Delta or something. We're talking just like maybe $10, $15 more to have the most easy experience in traveling with your golf clubs ever. I'm talking very passionately about this because it quite literally changed my travel life. We travel a lot, I get that. Some people might not relate to that as much. You will be traveling with your golf clubs at some point. Think about using Shipsticks. Use the code, use whatever you got to do, whatever we're going to end up telling you. I don't even know what it is, but shipping back,
off, baby.
20% off is what I mean. It's going to be the same thing as booking it on the plane. So just go drop your clubs off at a FedEx, have them come to you, schedule it however you want. they're going to get to your destination. You're not even going to think about them, dude. And you can put so many things inside the bag that you won't need. And then you're going to need them when you get to your destination. It's amazing. Book them home, dude. You're not going to get that time back. You're not going to get it back. Think about how much faster you will get home. It's going to get shipped to your door. I'm spitting now. It's going to get shipped to your door. Like, what are we talking about? It's just easier. It's way easier.
We're talking white glove service, complimentary insurance. Enjoy 20% off. All you got to do, go to shipsticks.com, use our code FORE. That's Fore. 20% off at shipsticks.com with the code Fore.
20% off is crazy when you already talk about the price and the difference between bringing it on a plane. 20% off is crazy. If you're not using this, I don't want to get me like you're a moron.
We got a couple from the galleries. You guys want to do a couple from the galleries real quick?
Absolutely.
Sure. You know, hear from the people. Foreplay at barstoolsports.com. That is how you submit. Put from the gallery in the subject line, then we'll read it and we'll see if it's good for the show for us to discuss. Trevor says, as we sit here today in October 2024, where would you rank Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy in the list of best golfers of all time? Are they both top 20? Are they top 10? Are they even close? Where would you rank those guys right now?
Wow.
Like if they just couldn't play ever again. Let me look at the list of.
I don't know who's like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Like, who would you?
That's the range where it gets tough.
I mean, even 10 from 20. Like,
if you go just
Rory
by
McIlroy
the majors,
better than VJ Singh?
If you go just by the majors, in terms of like major totals, you get to like 7. Like Harry Vardon's got 7 majors, along with Bobby Jones, Gene Sayers, and Sam Snead. Those guys aren't those guys, so no offense. So then you go to like the 12th ranked major winners of all time are like Lee Trevino, Nick Faldo. They've got 6 majors. They're like 12th. So I don't know that either one of those guys is in the top 20 at this point. Based just totally on major championships. Rory's, of course, got 4. I think he gets a couple more. He could jump up into like top 15 or maybe get into the top 10 of all time.
It's a tough list, man. Like you rattle off these names: Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, Tom Watson, Arnold Palmer, Bobby Jones, like Walter Hagen, Lee Trevino, Nick Faldo. I mean, then you look at a guy like Ernie Els.
Nelson.
79 professional victories to his name and 4 major championships. Like Ernie Els, he has to be above those guys, right? 79 professional wins on all different tours.
What does Rory
internationally
have? 35, 40?
Something like that.
VJ Singh, man. VJ Singh, one of the most underrated players of all time.
VJ was a machine. He knocked Tiger off the number 1 pedestal in Tiger's prime.
Scottie can't be there yet. He's in year 3 of his reign. Like this, I mean, that's crazy. I know that he's winning a ton. He won a bunch of events this year. He had one of the most historically great seasons of all time. But I mean, Scottie cannot be. So the question was, if he doesn't ever play again, like you can't put him in the top 20. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Rory would be the only one at this point, a current player that has the chance. Like I know that Brooks has a bunch of majors. But like, do you put Brooks over Rory in there? Just like what do we signify as like this is what gets you in the top 20?
I wouldn't,
right?
Just because I know Brooks got
total
5
resume,
majors.
Probably not.
Right. Rory's got 4 majors. Brooks has got 5, but Rory's got all those extra wins. He's got the tour championship. He's won multiple times. He's got the Players Championship.
More money.
He's got all that Ryder Cup. All the Ryder Cup. He is the European Ryder Cup team for the last 15 years. And I'm looking right here. It's like you don't have to go too crazy far to get down to being top 20 if you're looking at Mr. McIlroy. Like I could argue that he's a top 20 player of all time already. Seve Ballesteros he's like 15th in major wins. Tom Morris Sr., Tom Morris Jr.
Seve has 5 and then 4 tour wins. Rory has 4 majors and 22 tour wins.
In the era with more parity, you know what I mean? I think everybody agrees it's harder to win now than it was.
It is funny, like if you're looking at resume, like Scottie has 2 majors and probably 15 wins, something like that. That's pretty similar to what Zach Johnson has right now.
Yeah.
I mean, even Dustin Johnson has 2 majors and 22 wins and 20 top 10s in majors.
Jesus.
Golf is hard. Golf is hard to do.
Rory McIlroy has 22 tour wins, 4 majors, and 27 major top 10s. But then you got a guy like Gene Sarazen, 7 majors, 31 tour wins, 35 top 10 majors. Jack Nicklaus, 18 major wins, 55 tour wins, 55 top 10s in majors. 55. 55.
Those resumes of those couple guys of Mr. Nicklaus, Mr. Woods are really, really laughable when you start to we're talking about some of these players, man. Some of these names that we just mentioned are iconic names in the world of golf, and their resumes are just laughably short of Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus.
Right. The question becomes ultimately, when are we ever going to have somebody, and is the person alive right now who will challenge the top 2 spots ever?
No, right?
No.
Dude,
no.
As dominant as Scottie has been, he's got 2 majors. He would have to win all of the majors for the next 10 years. It's
right. How long is it going to take until there's a contender for? It could be 100 years. It could be 200 years. You know what I mean?
Scottie's got two majors, 11 tour wins, and 9 major top 10s.
It's just too early for Scottie.
Brooks Koepka has 5 majors and 4 tour wins. That is so insane.
In terms of weird, crazy resumes, Brooks Koepka probably has number 1.
Yeah. This one website has him as a 57th ranked player of all time.
Wonder what that site is. 57th ranked player of all time.
Golf Day.
Who's 58 on that list?
Well, they have him tied with Brooks, Jason Day.
Jason Day
with 1 major, 12 tour wins, 16 major top 10s.
Golf is
Scottie just isn't there yet. He's got only 9 major top 10s compared to when you go up in this top 20, dude, everyone's got Greg Norman's got 2 majors, 18 tour wins, 28 major top 10s. Vijay Singh, 3 majors, 31 tour wins, 20 major top 10s. Tom Watson, 8 major wins, 31 tour wins, 38 major top 10s. Dude, Scottie Scheffler's got 9 major top 10s.
Well, you got to give him majors. 12 years.
You got to give him 20 years. He's got to accumulate way more numbers. Phil fucking Mickelson, man. What a career. Losing how many times to Tiger Woods? He's got 6 major wins, 39 tour wins, and 34 top 10s. 34 major top 10s.
Phil's career is ridiculous.
We talk about this all the time. When you finish top 10 in a major, over 4 days, more often than not, it's 1 or 2 mistakes that you made. It's one bad swing that cost you 2 strokes. It's 1 lag putt that rolled out just a little bit too far, and then you just lost the steam, and you finished 3 strokes back. 3 strokes back over 4 days is nothing. It's 1 missed putt every day, and that's not even including every day.
And then you think about Phil's obviously hasn't won a U.S. Open. Second or tied second, 99, 2002, 2004, 2006, 2009, 2013.
And that's just, dude, that's the other guy not making any mistakes. You could finish in second and you could play kind of dog shit coming in and the other guy has to just play well. But what if that guy plays dog shit? The odds of you losing that many times in second place is actually there's a higher being stopping you from winning all those. You know what I mean?
When he finished second to Henrik Stenson at the British Open, I think he was 9 shots better than third place, Phil.
right. He just needed one guy to not play even better than that.
Play outrageous, best golf in the history of golf. It's insane,
man, dude. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, the weird one is this website has Bernard Langer, our guy. They have him at 25. He has 2 majors, 1 tour win, and 17 major top 10s. There's so many people below him. They have him above Nick Faldo.
Right? Are they counting his Champions Tour career?
Yeah, just best players. Yeah, just the top 100 player of the game of golf. I guess they're counting all that in.
It's tough. There's no formula. There's no formula for who is the top 20 of all time. Majors is a good start, but once you start getting into that range that we're talking about, it really depends on what you weigh as important in terms.
Shout out to Justin Thomas, man. 2 majors, 13 tour wins, 6 major top 10s. It's that's a better career than Henrik Stenson right now with 1 major and 5 tour wins.
Where do they got Jordan Spieth on that list?
They got Jordan Spieth tied with Brooks with 3 majors, 10 tour wins, 11 major top 10s.
See, that's interesting. Spieth and Brooks being tied, they've had very different careers.
But so Brooks has 2 more major wins than Spieth, but then Spieth has 6 more tour wins than him. But then Brooks has 3 more major top 10s. So I think as you kind of go through that career, I think that it kind of levels out. I mean, yeah, I don't know how any statistician or any person that's going to rank people, like how many, if you're doing like a point system, like what amount of points do you allot to a major win? And like, what do they must have some system here.
Right.
Whose career would you rather have, Jordan Spieth or Brooks Koepka?
Brooks Koepka's is so cool that like he can have. I hate it, and like I've always been anti Brooks for this idea, but it is cool if I was able to have it, where it's like I only care about the big ones. Like I'm a big ballpark winner. You can keep your Iowa championships and all these things. Like like you can go to TPC Deer Run and all these other fucking events. Right. I'm just gonna show up to the big ballparks, Chucky Bright Lights, and I'm just gonna win the big ones. Like that's cocky, and that's also unreal. How cool that is. I think that's a little cooler. I think I'd rather take that.
They also had different careers in the sense that Jordan was the chosen one. He was the next. Mm-hmm. He was the next guy. And Brooks was on like the Asian tours for years. Yeah. And nobody knew who he was really. And then came on the scene late. And then those careers to me are interesting.
Yeah, they are. I would rather have Brooks's just because I think the total tour wins is not a big enough delta to match the number of major differences, like 3 to 5. And dude, Brooks has just been a machine, an absolute machine for those couple years in the majors. Spieth has one of the most interesting careers ever. I mean, he's been relatively, for him, invisible for several years now. And in 2015, he was like 2 shots away from winning the Grand Slam. He that third major of the year when your boy won there, Trent, Zach. He had he went bogey and then didn't birdie 17 and 18 at the old course to miss out on a playoff, I think, by 1. And then a couple weeks later at the PGA Whistling Straits, he finished second only to Jason Day when he gave him that thumbs up from the lag putt on the 17th hole. So he was like a couple shots away from winning the Grand Slam that year. And then he just hasn't really done much overall. He had that finish at the 2017 British Open when he beat Matt Kuchar. That is the one thing about Spieth, though, is that his wins and stuff are electric. Like the way that he has done stuff, and he's hit it. He was like over on the driving range.
Yeah, that 2017. I don't remember what hole it was, but down the stretch, he is not even on the property anymore, and he's hitting it over grandstands, and people are like, "What's happening?"
He almost fell down. He almost fell down that ravine at 8 at Pebble Beach.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. Almost fell off the cliff.
He's off the cliff.
I would take Brooks's career just so we're all in the same
There's just a little too much stress on Spieth's life, and I know he probably doesn't feel it, but I think when you are like the chosen one, and they think they're putting all these numbers out there and all these major wins and all these assumptions and career achievements that they're already inking you in for, that's a lot. And like you said, Brooks kind of comes on the scene, has no expectations. No one really cares about what his career is going to be like when he comes on in his first PGA Tour event or after he wins his first event. No one's like saying this guy's going to be an all-time great. And then just a blink of an eye, he had 4 majors in the blink of an eye,
Insane.
2 years. Like, holy shit, this guy is just out here right now. Brooks Koepka's here.
He had some sick ones too, dude. He took down like Shinnecock. Shinnecock's insane. The Aaron Hills one that was like Justin Thomas was throwing, 63s at him. There are all kinds of names up there. Bethpage Black with
Shinnecock and Bethpage Black is crazy to me.
I know.
Just tackling the 2 titans of New York.
It is. He took down Tiger Woods at Belle Reve when Tiger had the crowds going nuts in his red shirt, and Brooks Koepka stands up there and takes him down. Like, God damn, he is a badass. When Tiger won at 19 at the Masters, it was like Koepka was right there. Remember, he was just throwing darts in there on 17 and 18 to try to get into a playoff. He came up so close. So he's a savage, that fucking guy.
Savage.
Fall is here. It's officially here. Temperatures are dropping quickly. I talk a lot about my Uncle Tony trip out of Bandon Dunes. Might be my favorite part of the trip. Favorite part of the trip was packing fall golf outfits. It was like 55, 60 degrees during the day. It got down to 45 or 50 at night. We were sitting around the fire pit in the evenings. And luckily, it's that time of year. I ordered a bunch of stuff from petermillar.com/foreplay. Lightweight gear, vests, sweaters, V-neck sweaters, crew necks, hoodies. Ordered all kinds of cool stuff and just geared up during my trip. I just geared up, getting compliments left and right. I'm looking at photos, pictures, and I said, golf swing might look like shit might not be playing particularly well at any given moment, but man, does that outfit look awesome. It's just layering season for guys like us, Trent.
Yeah, I was following along your Bandon trip on your Instagram with your Insta stories, and every day I'd be like, what's this guy going to be wearing? It's going to be even better than the last outfit. There was that dark green, that color, that was like, that's a showstopper. Like, you had the hat to match too, but the Peter Millar, I think it was a quarter zip, might have been a vest, but either one, each day your outfits got better and better, and it's all due to Peter Millar, and it's all fall themed outfits.
I gotta wear more green, man. That green, that thing just popped. The comments that people were DMing me, holy shit, I've never seen it look like that. So a big thanks to Peter Millar hooking me up out there, and it just felt good to show off outfits every day, to come out of the cottage for the first time and just get the reaction from the fellas out there. It was awesome. So be sure to check out the all course outerwear and the rest of Peter Millar's line at petermillar.com/forwardplay. Highly recommend the all course outerwear line. But check it all out at petermillar.com/foreplay. I think that's all I got on my little list here, my little deck, my little foreplay outline deck that we got here. Right. Good luck tonight, Frankie, to the New York Yankees.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The Islanders blew a 3-0 lead the other night. It's more of the same. They're 3-3-2. It's just going to be another one of those grinding seasons. It's not great. It's not good. Like, up 3-0, I'm sending cocky texts everyone, being like, are the Islanders the best team in the league? And then 5 minutes later, it's 5-3. It's like, how does this happen to me every time? I can't send a cocky text as an Islander fan. It's impossible. I actually thought to myself when I sent it to my buddies, I was like, there's no way they blow this one. Like odds are that I'm going to get one it'll actually stand, and it didn't. It still hasn't. I still can't find that one. So is what it is. Is what it is.
All right.
We're we got that. So we have the video also on our extras channel. So if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, you already know that we have a channel that we put all of our videos on YouTube and Rumble on. It's an extra channel. It's like Foreplay Podcast Plus, I believe it's called. We just put a video out there it's our first video that we're posting from PGA Frisco, our last video that we're posting from PGA Frisco. We played the little par 3 course there, which was called what?
The
Swing. Under the lights, we did a video where we could not go to the next hole until we birdied a hole as a scramble. And we thought it was going to take 35 minutes. We thought it was going to be really fast, couple holes, scramble, like no problem. Like, we're obviously all just going to hit it. Right? It was a scramble or no?
I think we had to birdie it with our own ball.
We all put our own ball.
Yeah, that's right. That's even harder. We had to birdie it on our own ball, but one of us had to birdie, and then we all could go to the next hole. It wasn't like we all had to birdie our own ball.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
It was like a best ball format. Yes, that makes it even harder. We were like, one of us is going to birdie this thing.
Scramble would have been way.
And it was a nightmare.
Scramble.
It was a nightmare. It was very difficult.
It's one of the worst things we've ever attempted to do. It's one of the worst things we've ever attempted to do. The lights literally went out on us.
Yeah.
So go watch this video. We were out there for hours. It's an extras video. It's great. We want to get more subscribers to this channel. We know that a lot of people like to watch the podcast, so make sure you go subscribe to that. Subscribe to our original YouTube channel there. We're trying to get that up to 500,000 before the end of the year. That'll be a nice little giveaway that we're going to do. We're going to do a big push here in like November and December to make sure that we get to that landmark, that milestone. That's a big one. 500,000 is nice on that streaming platform. So
nice number.
We're going to keep rolling. So make sure you go watch that.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. As always, thanks to our sponsors, Chevy, DraftKings, Easy Go, Precision Pro, Shipsticks, Peter Millar. God, I was rocking all kinds of good Peter Millar stuff on the Bandon trip. It was awesome. We'll be back on Thursday, as we always are. Thanks for listening. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.